Hey guys, welcome back to MU Sports TV, and we are going to discuss the latest transfer market. But first, um, I want us to understand something in the transfer market that some of us are failing to understand, and what it means. And I'm talking about the PSR, the profit and sustainability rules. At first, let me say it was formerly known as the FFP rules, the financial fair play. But I think the Premier League came with this PCR, I think, in 2016 to make some changes in the Premier League to be able to avoid um, uh, lack of competition in the league. So you first of all, guys, I'm talking about PCR because it connects with the activity in the transfer market. Why clubs like I can say Arsenal or Manchester United are somehow dormant in the transfer market at the moment. But if you see clubs like Manchester City or Chelsea, they have been spending for the last 1 month, same as Liverpool. They've spent almost 200 million so far for 3 players. City have spent 100 plus, as Chelsea are spending as usual. So you find yourself in a state whereby you start to question your club. Why are we not spending? And in this scenario, I'm talking about Manchester United. So far, they've only completed one signing in the name of Mateus Cunha from Wolves in a deal worth 62.5 million pounds. And since then, there have been in negotiations for Brian Mbeumo from Brentford, and it is now 4 weeks because the first bid was in 4th June, and it was rejected. The second bid was last week. It was rejected by Brentford as well, and now they're in negotiation for a third bid, which I think is the final one as far as the Red Devils are concerned. But why take this long? When you look at Manchester United, since the new owners came in, the Ineos and Sir Jim Ratcliffe, there have been some radical changes in terms of they call it the cost cut, the cost cutting measures. They've been cutting cost in terms of reducing how the club spend in terms of staffs and everything, and some staff have been relieved of duties, and also some legends have not been given what they always been given, and also this also affected us, Alex Ferguson. So all this happened because I think Manchester United were in a very, very great risk of breaching this rule, the PSR, and the owners needed to act swiftly and try to block this from or prevent this from happening, because we are going to talk about the consequences of not abiding by these PSR rules, because they have the consequences. There are points deduction and there are fines. So with United finishing 15th in the Premier League last season, I think they are one of the clubs who were at greater risk of breaching these PCR rules if the Ineos didn't take any measures to prevent this from happening. So what happens if the club does not abide with this rule? But first of all, you I want to tell you why the PCR was designed. So it was designed to prevent clubs from overspending and potentially facing the financial difficulties which could lead to administration or other issues. When you look at Chelsea, I think this is after their new owners came in, they Todd Boehly. They've been spending, and spending. Winning the Europa Conference League last season was an advantage to them because it worked in their favor, because they've been spending and spending and spending. So these rules were brought in to prevent big clubs from overspending, because without the PSR, clubs like Newcastle United, who are being owned by one of the richest owners, Manchester City, the likes of even Manchester United, they could just spend without thinking twice. At the moment, if there were no PSR rules, United could have spent already 70 million on Boma without even thinking twice. But these rules were brought in um, to to bring in fairness, because how can teams like Burnley or even Sunderland compete with clubs like Manchester City in terms of spending or signing players? Then there need to be a bit of fairness, because there's a limit to to what amount of money Manchester City can spend, and there's a limit to a certain kind of money which Sunderland can also spend. So it says these rules are also known as the FFP rules, as I said earlier, the financial fair play. It limits how a club can lose over a 3-year period, with the current limit set at a maximum or loss of 105 million. That is around 35 million a season. So the deadline for this rule for the PSR is today, 30th of June. That means that for the 3-year period, it ends today. That means as early as tomorrow, the 1st of July, if the club were in line with the PSR rule for the last 3 seasons, that means they are safe and they can now spend without any worries. So what now? It starts now on a new financial year, which starts tomorrow, the 1st of July. So this is why some clubs are not busy in the market at the moment. They are not acting or moving fast in the transfer market, because the Premier League states that the clubs must submit their accounts over a 3-year period. The Premier League assesses whether they have complied with the 105 million loss limit. So if your club, after submitting the 3-year period today's the deadline for submitting these PSR accounts. So if your club have failed to comply with these PSR rules over the last 3-year period, and the loss limit is not 105 million, it's more than that, then I think you risk penalties such as bonus deduction or maybe fine. So this is not what clubs want, because it affect them in their season. So also it is fair to note that there are some exemptions as far as the PSR are concerned, because some spending such as the academies, the infrastructure and the community projects, and also the women football are exempted from the PSR calculations. So it's good for us to understand these rules, because at the moment football is governed by rules, and also now even spending are being governed by rules. Remember, the FFP rules is for overall, is a overall rule for football. The financial fair play is an overall rule for football, but the Premier League brought the PCR so that it can help reduce the overspending that we have seen in the Premier League of late. So for United, I think they needed to be in line with the PSR rule. Maybe announcing Bran Mbeumo before the deadline for the PCR could have impacted, could have an impact on this PCR calculation, because if they have signed Mbeumo, remember now, Mateus Cunha deal was completed on June, if I'm not wrong, maybe May, if I'm not wrong. And that means when Manchester United will be presenting their last 3 seasons calculation for the PCR or accounts for the PCR rules, or the PCR account for the last 3 years, Mateus Cunha is going to be included in that account, because it happened in that same 3-year period. That is why if United were to announce Brian Mbeumo before 1st of July, that is in June, that is, the calculation could have been added into the 3-year period accounts for the PSR, and that maybe could have had an impact, a negative impact on the account, and could have been they could have been in a tricky situation with the Premier League and the PCR issues, and this could have affected United next season. Maybe there are a season that follows, which could have maybe impacted on points deduction. Sometimes even your club can be prevented from signing for maybe 2 or 3 transfer windows. So I think the club were just being clever enough not to complete the announce the brand Mbemo deal until the deadline for the PSR, or rather before the deadline of the PCR, which is today, the 30th of June. So that's why I posted earlier enough, and I said now expect Brian Mbeumo to be announced anytime from 1st of July, which is tomorrow. And the club are believed to be in a rush to complete the signing before the 7th of July, because the preseason for most clubs starts next week, the 7th of July, and they want Mbeumo and Mateus Cunha available in their preseason tours in the USA, because they are I think they're playing in the Premier League Summer Series against Burnley, against Bournemouth, West Ham, and Everton, if I'm not wrong. So before early enough, there was some issues that why are they taking so long to announce Mbeumo, this and that, and I think it is now clear that they were just trying to be clever, not to be in the negative side with the Premier League or concerning the PSR. So this brings me to Brian Mbeumo. Remember, the first bid was on the 4th of June. That is what was 55 million pounds, 45 million fixed fee, plus 10 million in ads on, which was rejected by Brentford because they believe that after scoring 20 goals last season in the Premier League, Brian Mbeumo worth more than that. United took their time, and after 2 weeks or 3 weeks, they submitted a second bid worth 62.5 million pound. That is 55 million add-ons plus 7.5 million in fixed fee plus 7.5 million in add-ons for Brian Mbeumo. And it is let me clarify that, because there were reports that Brentford have rejected the bid, which is yes, the bid was rejected, but not the entire bid. It is clear to say that Brentford wants something higher than what Manchester United paid for Mateus Cunha, and this is somehow confusing, because they are now benchmarking with what United spent on Mateus Cunha. If United spent 70 million on Cunha, they could have been asking for something more than that. So United spent 62.5 million on Cunha from Wolves, and now Brentford are asking for something higher than that, slightly higher than that. United submitted the exact fee, 62.5 million, and the one they paid for Mateus Cunha, which was rejected by Brentford. And now Brentford are believed to asking for something higher than 62.5, with the report saying that maybe a deal can be reached for about 65 million pounds, which I can break it down to be 55 million fixed fee and 10 million in ads on. Remember, Manchester United and Brentford reached an agreement on the base of the fee, which was 55 million. That was agreed. Now, the issue comes in the add-ons structure. Brentford wants something like 10 million, at least 10 million add-ons, and they want easily achievable add-ons. United submitted 7.5 million. They did not agree to that. That's why it was rejected by Brentford. Now, the negotiations are still going on between Brentford and Manchester United with the aim of finalizing the deal. Remember, at the moment they're talking about the add-ons to be paid. How it is going to be paid? Is it club-related add-ons or player-related add-ons? Brentford wants something easier to achieve, and I don't know if they're going for the player-related add-ons, which I think means that the add-ons that if it is a player-related add-ons, it depends on the player's development, performance, maybe goals scored, appearances, trophies won. But the player, if it is club-related add-ons, it is maybe the position the club finishes, maybe the top four, the top six, playing in Europe. If the club wins, maybe the FA Cup, the Carabao, the Premier League. So, Brentford wants easily achievable add-ons. Yeah, remember the clause in Anthony Martial's contract when he signed for Monaco, where the add-ons, one of the add-ons was that United will pay a certain amount of money if Anthony Martial wins the Ballon d'Or. So that was a crazy detail in that add-ons for Anthony Martial. So some of these add-ons are always unrealistic and they are not easily achievable. So that's why clubs are now being clever in terms of agreeing on the add-ons to be paid. And I think this is where the issue comes in with Brentford and Manchester United. They are really struggling to come in agreement on how these add-ons are going to be paid, how they'll be paid, and how easily are they to be achieved. So this is now what remains. But I can tell you that in a matter of days now, from tomorrow Tuesday, it's now a matter of days before United formally announce or finish the signing of Bryan Mbeumo from Brentford. There was some comparison about in the market about how Chelsea are doing their business and how other clubs are doing their business. But I can tell you what, Chelsea is being run in a different way. The way Chelsea is being run is not a pleasant way. I know you as a fan, you always want your club to be active in the transfer market, but how active are you in the transfer market? You know, Chelsea have been spending a lot of money on players, and sometimes those players don't even play. They end up selling them again. So Joao Pedro to Chelsea was easy because I think nobody was impressed by Joao Pedro last season at Brighton. He was not that star man for Brighton. But when you look at Bryan Mbeumo or even Matheus Cunha for Wolves, he was a star man for Wolves. Bryan Mbeumo was a star man for Brentford alongside Yohan Wissa. So this is where the difference comes in. But now Chelsea get a deal of around 60 million package, 55 million and 5 million in add-ons for Joao Pedro. That's done deal now and confirmed. So for United, I can say now expect movements. The transfer market, yeah, expect movements here and there because the financial the PSR deadline is today, the 30th of June. The clubs are going to submit their accounts, and the Premier League will determine if they've complied with the loss limit, which is at 105 million pounds. And now tomorrow, the 1st of July, you expect movements, and now even the official contracts of players ends in the financial year. The financial year ends on the 30th of June. It starts on the 1st of July. So even some players are now going to be formally moving to their clubs on the 1st of July, which is tomorrow. Contracts are going to be terminated. Some players are going to be free agents. Remember Thomas Partey of Arsenal, DCL, Calvert-Lewin of Everton. So everything starts tomorrow, the 1st of July. Movement in the transfer market now starts tomorrow. And it is now a race against time. The Premier League kicks off on the 16th of August. And teams are now running against time to complete these signings before that. Because they really want to finish their signings in time. For United, they are starting their league with Arsenal. And if you look at their first 11 fixtures, you'll feel sorry for Ruben Amorim because in the first 11 fixtures, Manchester United are facing Arsenal, they're facing Manchester City, they're facing Liverpool, they're facing Spurs, they're facing Chelsea. In short, they're facing the big six in the first 11 Premier League games, inclusive of Fulham, Burnley. So it's a tough start for the season for Ruben Amorim. and the media will be all over him to perform miracles. And that won't happen if the club does not act swiftly and fast in the transfer market to boost their squad. Because I tell you what, last season they've been poor. If you look at the pace that they are now in the transfer market is just shocking. But now, let's say that they were not active in the transfer market because of the PSR thing. But now that the deadline is today, let's see if there will be movements starting tomorrow in terms of um, signings and also offloading players. Remember, after signing Mateus Kuna and Brian Mbeumo from Brentford, and that will be 62.5 million and 65 million spent. That is almost 150 to be spent. Now, here comes a tricky situation. After Brian Mbeumo, United now are going to be forced to sell fast before signing. And when I say sell fast, there are Anthony, Rashford, Sancho, Malacia, who I think their future have been decided. They are leaving United. It's confirmed here. Also Garnacho. Yeah, Alejandro Garnacho. So they need to find suitors for these players. Fund the new signings. Remember, it was confirmed. It's official that United are in the market for a new striker. Names linked to Agio Koresh, who I think prefers Arsenal, Eketike of Frankfurt, Moise Kean of Fiorentina, Blahovic, all these names, Mateta of Crystal Palace, all these names have been linked with Manchester United. And I'm so glad for the past 2 weeks, there have been no, 1 week that is, there have been no rumors involving United with many strikers in the transfer market. But since they are now going to finalize a deal to sign Brian Mbeumo, now expect more rumors to come in involving the strikers or maybe goalkeepers and defensive midfielders. And note that for United to sign a new goalkeeper, it all depends on the future of Andre Onana. They are going to sell Andre Onana first in order to bring in a new goalkeeper. And those players that have been linked with the move to United to replace Andre Onana are like Diego Costa of FC Porto, Emiliano Martinez of Aston Villa, even Mike Maignan from AC Milan. So a lot of goalkeepers have been linked also with the move to the Premier League. And this can only happen if United will offload Andre Onana, whom I think is determined to prove his worth at Old Trafford next season. Although the fans are against that idea of Andre Onana staying at Manchester United. Also, that United are going to complete their second signing in the name of Diego Leon from Paraguay, the Paraguayan international. Yeah, he's joining United. It's official. Here we go. Confirmed last transfer window. He was waiting to be 18 years in order to move to the Premier League. And now he's 18 years of age. And he'll be traveling this week to Manchester for his medicals and to sign his contract and officially join Manchester United. He is a left back. From now, with United playing the 3-4-3 formation, I can refer to him as a left wing back. Now, what remains a mystery is whether he will be a first team player, a reserve player, or he'll be sent on loan to for that experience. So Diego Leon, the transfer is set to be completed this week. So expect two transfers to be announced this week by Manchester United. Potentially Brian Mbeumo from Brentford, and also Diego Leon will also be joining the Red Devils this week. Also, some news regarding the youngsters at Carrington is that United are believed to have reached an agreement with the youngster Angelo Gabriel. Yeah, remember he was out of contract with Manchester United, and they've been meaning to keep him because he's seen as is seen as a good player for the future. and the club didn't want um, to lose him. So, according to Nathan Salt, is that Manchester United has reached an agreement to extend this contract for JJ Gabriel, and this happened after the intervention of Jason Wilcox, and now it is believed that uh, JJ Gabriel will remain, uh, will extend his stay at Carrington with hope that he could be presenting United at the under 21 and under 18 level as far as next season is concerned.